Hello, sports fan. This is Steven here for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering how are they going to be with new coordinators. Before I get right into this, I want to make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The draft is just a couple of days away, and we have some of the biggest transitions that we've seen from one team in a long time. When you think about the Detroit Lions and how successful they were, they lost their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, to the New York Jets as a coaching position, and they replaced him with Kelvin Shepard. When you think about Ben Johnson, he's now a coach in division with the Chicago Bears, and he was replaced by John Morton. So that leads me to believe, can the Detroit Lions bounce back and have a great season, even though they have the same players, but the coordinators are different? Sometimes the motion of the offensive coordinator leads to tremors on the team. I've seen teams that have gone from great offensive coordinators, and then the very next year they faltered because the offensive coordinator didn't know what he was doing or didn't have the right cohesion with the quarterback, and all of a sudden the rest of the team was faltering. When you think about Ben Johnson, he set the tone, and the Lions were a high-powered machine offensively. Yes, they gave up some points. Yes, they gave up some yards, but they were scoring at a clip where 27-plus points a game. And you thought about this, certain games Jared Goff would only throw for 3 or 4 times, less than 10 times, and then they was blowing teams out. Specifically a game against the Tennessee Titans where they were pulling out trick plays. They were doing, Amon St. Brown was running the ball, throwing the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs was running the ball, throwing the ball. They had a number of games like that where the team were just doing what they wanted to do against teams, and they couldn't stop them, running, passing, or anything. So this leads me to believe that I don't believe they're going to have that same high-powered offense that they had last year. I think it cools down a couple of numbers. I don't think it's just dwindles all the way, because you have Jared Goff here still, because you have Montgomery's there still, because you have Jahmyr Gibbs there. You have some familiar faces that we all know. The players are still there. I don't think it's as high points per game, and I think that they reel it in a little bit and they play more to a realistic style of football. And you see them, they'll go off in a couple of games where they'll score 40 or 50 points. We've seen that. But I don't think it's as often as they had it last year. They had it last year because they were cooking, they were rolling, and it was a combination of a bad schedule where they're playing a lot of teams that are not good. This year, it's going to be more realistic, under 35. I think that they can still score 27, 28 points a game. But when you're thinking about 35, 40 points a game, that's not going to be realistic with the schedule they have. I think defensively, they're going to have to make improvements if they want to, slow people down, because you're going to have to slow people down. You can't score 60 points a game. But I think overall, I like the changes that they're making. Hopefully in the draft, they get corners. Hopefully in the draft, they address some defensive things. And I think that this is going to be a tough time for them to address that. But with that being said, Coach Dan Campbell is going to have to pull these guys in and say, look, we did this last year. We did this the year before. We've made changes, but we still can do this. We still can be successful. So I'm picking the Detroit Lions to have a good year next year. I don't think their offense is going to be as bloated as far as the numbers go. But I think defensively, when you get another year under your belt, you get your best defensive player back from injury, and it's one of those things. You're in a position where you can control your division. You are the defending champion from your division, so I think that it's going to be tough. But I think I like what this team does offensively. I like what they do. I like that they're still continuing to do running back by committee with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery. I think that they're a hell of a tandem, Sonic and Knuckles. Amon St. Brown is doing his thing. The tight end, they have a lot of different weapons you can go to. I just expect the weapons to step up this year and be more prominent and be more predominant in the game. So I'm picking the Lions to have a better season than they did last year. I don't think as far as the numbers go, it's going to be better, but I think the production is going to be better. When I think of them being more efficient, it's going to be better. I don't think that record-wise they're going to be better, but I think when you're thinking about everything they brought to the table, when they falter against certain teams, they won't falter again. I think that they're going to put up more of a fight in the playoffs this year as well. It's just, I think that the coach Dan Campbell, he sets the tone for these guys. And, I don't think that they're going to back down from anybody. They're going to punch people in the mouth, and they're going to keep on going. So all you Lions fans, get in the comment section. NFL fans, get in the comment section as well. Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus. We'll see you in the next episode.